Welcome to the March 2025 edition of Corporate Reporting Insights. We've got three key sections in this month's newsletter. First of all, we look at Australian financial reporting developments. Secondly, we look at IFRS accounting standards developments. And then finally, we look at sustainability. So if we go back to the first section, Australian financial reporting developments. In our very first article, Dean Arden, one of our new IFRS and corporate reporting partners, wrote an interesting article on everything you wanted to know about accounting position papers, but were too afraid to ask. Please look at that. If you've got complex accounting issues, your auditors would expect you to prepare and document an accounting position paper, and that is because that's also the requirement by our regulator, by ASIC. Very interesting article. Secondly, we have an article which is a bit of a reminder for for-profit private sector entities, and it's a reminder around changes to a constitution and banking agreements after 1 July 2021, which might trigger the preparation of general purpose financial statements. So have a look at that one. And then in the third article, we look at the ASX, which announces a new focus areas for exploration reporting. Then in the second section, when we look at IFRS accounting standards developments, first of all, an article on classifying borrowings with covenants, and we look at a number of practical examples, things that we see in the market that could be problematic. Secondly, we look at lease payments being waived by the lessor. And this is where you've got an accounting policy choice on whether you would apply IFRS 9 derecognition or IFRS 16 lease modifications. And then thirdly, we have an article looking at what will your profit or loss statement look like under the new IFRS 18. So that is the latest IFRS accounting standards. So it's a standard, so we look ahead at that. And then in our final section on sustainability, first of all, a very interesting report out of the US, and that is the 2025 CFO Sustainability Outlook survey. And we share some of the outcomes from that survey. Now, as an accounting nerd, the things that really stuck out to me is that CFOs, when they look at the last 5 years and they look at the benefits around sustainability, I could immediately see the second item on the list was increases in revenue. And I think number 6 on the list, cost reductions. So very interesting findings out of the US. And also note that this survey was done after the presidential election. Then in our second sustainability article, we look at the strategic role of voluntary sustainability reporting frameworks. We also have an article where some not-for-profit entities will have to prepare a mandatory sustainability report. So please note, it's not a case that no not-for-profits will ever prepare a mandatory sustainability report. Some not-for-profits, companies limited by a guarantee, lodging with ASIC and meeting the size thresholds will have to prepare a mandatory sustainability report. Then we also have an article where we discuss where you operate, where you're located, where you operate, which country will drive your sustainability reporting journey. And then the final article within the sustainability section, but also the whole corporate reporting insights, is around the European Commission's first omnibus and a few takeaways from that. We hope you enjoy reading everything about the latest developments around corporate reporting.